Good morning. Good morning. I was gonna do this last night after the game, but to be honest with you, I had an edible and I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I fell asleep. Game was boring, um, so I just didn't have the energy. But I do now. Good morning. Happy Friday morning. Hope everyone has some cool weekend plans in store. I will be at a wedding, believe it or not. Um, so I can't wait to cut up on the dance floor. Might do the spinneroonie. I don't know. Um, but it'll be a fun time. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Hope everyone had a good week. How was your work week? Was it shitty? Was it good? One of the two. Was it in the middle? I don't know. Comment down below. We're just going to get this thing kicked off. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I don't think I'm going to do them every week, just because I don't think enough changes week by week. So during the season, doing it every week, I just don't feel like doing it every week. But at this point in the season, I think it's important to do these because this is the part of the season where the playoffs really start to take shape and people are making moves. They're falling down the pecking order, they're moving up, they're in the hunt. So it's interesting to see what's going on and talk about it. So we're going to talk about week 10, which was November 5th through the 11th. This was last week. The first game on the docket was myself versus Ethan. First play at this point it was first verse. I think I was in 10th at the time or 11th at the time. But I really needed to win this game. I won the week before. I was 2-0, lost 6 in a row, 2-6. I really needed to win this game. And finally, I didn't have a good week. I only scored 104 points. But finally, I played someone on their off week. Ethan scored 90, so I get the win here. 104 to 90. I don't want to spend too much time talking about myself. I just know that I really needed the fucking win, and it feels nice to win 2 in a row instead of 4-6 and in 9th. Ethan drops to 7-3. He's still in first though. I don't understand. I don't understand how. Well, I'll save that for the next game because it has nothing to do with Ethan. But anyways, Ethan drops to 7-3. He's likely still going to be the 1 seed, especially with Saquon's performance last night, which was fucking awesome because he's fucking gross. So, congrats to me, and hopefully Ethan bounces back this week. Now I can get into what I was gonna say. The next game was Beam versus Scooter Shooters. I still have it out for Scott just because he's impossible to do trades with, but I've kind of whatever, whatever. I've forgiven him. It is what it is. Beam, on the other hand, this game finishes 102 to 117. Beam takes the L. Scott takes the dub. I don't understand. I truly do not understand how Hunter Beam is in second place in this league. You look at his team is hot garbage aids. Not only is he getting lucky, but he only really has 1 or 2 guys that really put his team over the edge. Derrick Henry, and I mean, that's probably it. Derrick Henry, I mean, I guess... I mean, what is his team? Derrick Henry, that's his team. Who is his quarterback? You've got Geno. You had Joe Burrow, but you traded him. I don't know why. DK Metcalf, I guess, but he's been injured. Anyways, I don't understand how Beam is 7-3 and in second. I've scored more points than him. Actually, a majority of the league has scored more points than Hunter Perry Beam. So it is... that's fantasy football, I guess, But it always seems to be Hunter that gets lucky like this. Has a mediocre team that isn't all that great, but somehow still wins games. And, he's found a way to do it, and it's been successful for him. He's got 2 rings, so, can't hate on the man for that. But it really does kind of piss me off. All right. Scott's having a interesting up and down yo-yo type of season. He's 5-5. He is in 6th, so he is right on the cutoff or he is the last guy in the playoffs. looking at Scott's team, it's not too bad. George Kittle, Eckler, Mahomes, AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, it's a good team. It's a good team. Looking at his bench is terrible. Diggs and Olave both on IR. That's tough. That's tough. But you know, he deserved to win. Scott deserved to win this game, and it would be cool to see Scott excel in fantasy football and make the playoffs, because usually he's always just at the bottom of the barrel eating shit out of the fucking crop. So, um, you know, good for Scott. Good for the man. Good for the comedian of the group. We love to see it. No, oh my God. Next was Chernobyl Tomahawks versus Kinley. This one finished 160 to 65. This is Kinley's second game under 70 points this year. He sits at 4-6. He's in 11th. He is 100% in the battle for last place because of these two games, the one where he scored like 48 and this one where he scored 65. He just doesn't have the points to go up against someone like me or Andrew, you know, or any of the other 4-6 teams. Now, Kinley did beat me, so I can't really say anything there, but you know, I'm still above him in the fucking rankings because, you know, not scoring any points. But Spardella has really made a huge resurgence this season. He started 0-5 and now he's 4-6. So if you do the math, he's 4-1 in the last 5 weeks. He's made a lot of trades. He's got the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin connection, which really didn't do much last week for him because, you know, Daniels only had 8 points. But really, where a bulk of his points came from was his running backs. Bijan Robinson had a great game. Kareem Hunt. Mark Andrews had 18 points. George Pickens had 20 points. And the New England defense had 25. I want to talk about George Pickens, though. Seeing Russell Wilson back and playing really well is cool. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's cool. I know he's corny. He's a weirdo. But, you know, he's a good guy. He takes care of another man's kids. He's a good fucking guy. And he throws the ball on a rope. And just watching it fall from the ether into George Pickens' fucking arms, it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch. And it would be nice if I had a guy like George Pickens on my football team. That would be very cool. He's very studious. I'm sure he had a 4.0 GPA, and I'm sure he treats women with respect. So I would love to have that on my team. Kinley's team, pretty much nobody performed. Darnold had 6 points, 7 points from the lad, 2 points from Xavier Worthy, who really is not done much this year. He's just a rookie, but not really been all that great. Cam Akers, fucking Cam Akers, man. I can't believe that bum is still in the fucking league. Cam fucking Akers, can't stand that fucking guy. What a disgrace to the name of Cam is Cam Akers. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But get him off the fucking gridiron. Get him off the gridiron. Fucking bum. Trey McBride, 11 points. Not bad. But anyways, this game was over before it started. Spardella moves to 4-6. What is that noise? Okay. Spardella moves to 4-6. Kinley moves to 4-6. But Spardella, off of points scored, is in 8th. And Kinley drops to 11th. Next game was Matt Man, name change alert versus Sugar Street. Cruz really needed to win this game because he lost to me the week before, and he's just firmly in last place now. He lost this one 122 to 158. It's just not been Cruz's year. You can't catch a break. Cruz's team isn't terrible. Like, look at these guys. I'm gonna name 4 players right now, and you wouldn't think that the team that these guys were on would be 2-8. Joe Burrow, Cooper Kupp, Garrett Wilson, and Christian McCaffrey, all in the same team, all in the same lineup, and Cruz is 2-8. It's just bad luck. It's just bad luck, man. And I feel bad for you, Cruz. I do. But guess what, man? The season isn't over. You still have a lot of time to win some games. There's 4 games left in the regular season. You can still go on a little mini run here, get to 6-8, pull yourself up from the bottom, and hopefully somebody else does worse. You've got fucking Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs on your bench too, T. Higgins. Who is banging out there? I swear I'm hearing somebody banging, like banging. Anyways, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. But Michael had a great week. 158 points. Kyler Murray, Jamar Chase with the 55 bomb. Are you kidding? Damn. DJ Moore did nothing. James Cook, Chuba. Look, if there's anything that you take away from this video, know this. I will have a stitched Chuba Hubbard jersey on my body in 2 weeks' time. I will have that in my possession. It will be mine. Stud. But just a good week from Sharaman. He gets the dub. Valdez Scantling had 25, 2 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns off 3 catches for 109 yards. That's pretty incredible. Matt drops to 2-8. Michael goes to 6-4. Been a good year for Michael. Much more consistent season compared to last, so he moves to 4th place in the standings. So good for him. I really hate Michael's profile picture, though. It makes me want to throw up. Next game, we had Doc Rock's motherfuckers take on Washington Foreskins. This one ended 115 to 124 with Luke getting the W, moving to 6-4. Rocky dropping to 4-6 and firmly next to me in the standings. Rocky's team, let me take a look. Jalen Hurts had 30. CeeDee Lamb didn't do anything. Zay Flowers didn't do anything. Javonte Williams didn't do anything. Sam Laporta had a good game. He's been very quiet this year. Had a good game. Yeah, I mean, Buffalo's defense for Luke had 23. Tyrone Tracy for the Giants has been solid as a rookie running back. He's been very solid and deserves to be talked about a little bit more. You know, not a lot of people are talking about him. You know, he plays for the Giants. I think most people are just preoccupied with Malik Neighbors as the better rookie on the team, which is true. He hasn't done much in a while because, you know, he's on a bad offense. But Tyrone Tracy, on the other hand, seems to be the next good, potentially great New York Giant running back. I like him. I'm a fan. Cade Otton, who had been balling recently, only had 8 points last week. But this game was just like a classic. No one really stood out except maybe Jalen Hurts, but 124 to 115. It was a close one, but Luke gets the win. Luke's had a good season, no matter how much he likes to think that his team is in last for some reason. If you read his text, it's like you think Luke would be 0-9 or 0-10. Oh, I hate fantasy football. Bro, you're 6-4. You're in 5th. What are you fucking crying for? Give me your team. I want to be in your position, man. Fucking unbelievable. Rocky drops to 4-6. Tough. One of these days we'll see an elite Rocky fantasy football team. I don't know when that will be, but one of these days. Next game was the last game of the week. It was NFL Youngboy versus Lil Baked Bean. Another win for Pirelli. 139 to 107. He moves to 6-4. Garrett drops to 5-5. It's been an off year for Garrett. Usually his team is always high powered and up there in the standings. And at this point, you'd think that Garrett would be like 8-3 or something, or 8-2. But he's 5-5, and I think it has a lot to do with Tyreek Hill being absolutely fucking worthless. I have Tyreek Hill in my other league, and I start him every goddamn week thinking that he might finally do something, but he doesn't. So that could play a factor. Garrett also has Josh Allen, who had a good week. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 16. Chase Brown, one of the breakout running backs of the season, had 22. I like Chase Brown. With the Zach Moss injury, that backfield is essentially just Chase Brown's now. So I would continue to start him every single week because I like Chase. Chase is nice. Moving over to Pirelli's team, Lamar Jackson, 32 points, likely will win his 3rd MVP of the season this year. I mean, he's just unbelievable. Google his stat line. Go and Google his stats so far this year and look at them. They're insane. Amon-Ra had 18. Keenan Allen had 9. Travis Kelce had 20. Back to his old ways. Calvin Ridley, out of nowhere, with a 25-point game. Nice. Good win, win, Pirelli. Um, you know, you're in third. You're in third. So good for you. You're starting to really prove that you can actually do something without McCaffrey. But we'll move on to next week. Some next week's games. We'll predict the winners and losers. We'll start with Garrett versus Scott. Scott already has two guys that have played, Amon-Ra and Eckler, and they both Amon-Ra, AJ Brown and Eckler. Eckler had a really good game, 17 points. AJ had 11. I just don't see Tyreek doing anything still. I'm going to roll with Scott to get the win. I'd like to see him go on a little roll here. I'm sorry, Garrett, but this year just might not be your year. You know, coming off of winning GM of the year, it's just not, you're just not getting the same results. So I'm going Scott. Next game, myself versus Beam. I won't spend much time on this. I'm going to pick myself to win, obviously, but I will say to Beam, you are the luckiest man on planet Earth. And one of these days, you'll come to rue it. Next game is Spardella versus Matt Cruz. Just in the interest of competition, I'm going to pick Matt Cruz just because I want to keep this. Like, if Cruz loses this game, it's over for him. He'll drop to 2-9. Spardella will firmly be placed out of the last place race because then he would move to 5-6. And if I win this week, I'm 5-6, so we're both out of it. But I don't necessarily want to see, because if Cruz loses this game, he's just going to be like, okay, fuck this. It's over now. So I'm picking Cruz to win, to try to move up the standings, try to get to 3-8. And then maybe Kinley loses, he drops to 4-7, and then boom, right back in the thick of things. But I'm taking Cruz just because, you know, I'm tired of seeing the man down. And I'm sorry, Spardella. I really respect the run you've gone on here, but it's Cruz time. Next game is Kinley versus Luke. I would love to make the playoffs. And with points scored, if Kinley wins this game, I'll still be above him. So I'm taking Kinley so I can see Washington Foreskins drop down the standings a little bit more, make some room for the fucking Kraken and Chernobyl, because we're both making the fucking playoffs. So I'm taking Kinbob's Bozos to upset Washington's Foreskins with a final score of 112 to 111. That's my guess. Next game is Doc Rock's Motherfuckers versus Lil Baked Bean. I'm taking Pirelli. I just don't trust Rocky to win. I just don't. And I don't need to explain why. And I won't. I just don't. Pirelli. Next game is Ethan versus Michael. I'm taking Ethan just because he just lost, and I don't see him losing 2 in a row. And it's always nice to see Michael get humbled. Even though I love the man, I like to see him, you know, just shut up a little bit, you know. So taking him, Ethan over Michael. And then Scott, I already did that one. Scott over Garrett. So that's the predictions. That's it. A little rusty with the video, just because I don't really enjoy doing these. But I felt like I should check in. But the playoff race is, let's take a look at the playoff race. Okay, so right now, oh my God, Ethan's made 57 moves. Luke has made 80 waiver wire moves. That's like, what? How? Luke has made 80 moves and Scott has made 9, and they're essentially have the same record. So that's funny. Anyways, the hottest team in the league right now is Lil Baked Bean and the Kraken, both winning 2 in a row. The coldest team in the league right now is Matt Man with 4 L's in a row. So tough to see. But in the standings, Cruz in 12th at 2-8. You got Kinbob, Rocky in 10th, myself in 9th, and Spardella in 8th, all at 4-6. We've got 2 5-5 teams, Garrett and Scott. Garrett's in 7th and Scott is in 6th. We've got a plethora of 6-4 teams, Luke, Michael, and Pirelli are all 6-4, and then the top two, Beam at 7-3 and Ethan at 7-3. Ethan in first, Beam in second. We have an imposter amongst us, and Hunter Beam in second, but I will take care of that. Take care of that this week. Don't you worry, boys. I will. But basically, the bubble is what it's looking right now. Scott's the last team in. Nobody has clinched. It's very, very tight. NFL Young Boys is out of it just based off points. So big game for him this week. Bardella could creep in there. I could creep in there with a win and some losses above us. Rocky might even. It's really wide open. Any 4-6 team, Kinley would have to win, I think, the rest of his games because he just doesn't have the points. But really, it's anyone's ball game to try and get to that 6th spot. So Scott's got a lot of teams on his ass. They're up there. They're knocking on the fucking door. They're knocking on the back door, Scott. So I would be ready. I would be ready for anything and everything. But yeah, that's it. If I don't see anybody before the holiday, have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your weekend, and take some time out of your day to go see Gladiator 2 when it comes out this month. Support the cinema.